Welcome to the training video provided by Investigative Screening and Consulting. I'm Sam Cooper. I'm a private investigator. The purpose of this video is to make sure that you can become a private investigator too. So what we're going to do is give you some ideas of things you may or may not have known. First of all, are you aware that people screen you while you screen them? We want you to look for the clues that people give you when they walk through the door. We want you to be able to know how to ask for an identification. I'm going to give you 13 points to look for every time somebody comes in. Before I was a private investigator, I was a property manager, and I have a 2-2 rule. 2 months of bad management will get you 2 years of bad reputation, and you can't afford 2 years of bad reputation. The first thing I want to talk about is who's screening who. Long before somebody walks into your office, the first thing they're doing is screening your property. How well maintained is your community? The first place a person gets to look is the parking lot. Look at how beautiful a parking lot can be. Nice looking vehicles, the lot's clean. However, the person who wants a bad place to live, the person who wants a place where they can do the things they want to do that may not be legal, they're going to be looking for things like a vehicle up on blocks, one that's been sitting there long enough that it's dirty, that there may be broken windows in it. It says you don't care about your community. In addition to that, the building itself really takes on a look of its own. Look at a building that's well kept, well maintained, no broken windows, flowers, and once again, good lighting. If you don't care as a property manager about your community, you're going to attract the kind of person who doesn't care where they live. Because if they live where you don't care, then you don't care what they do. And once one of those people moves in, they're going to bring all of their friends with them. And you're going to have a really difficult time cleaning up your community after that. In addition, let's take a look at what your marketing strategy is saying about your community. If you say you have 3 months free rent, that sounds kind of desperate, doesn't it? No application fee? What are you saying to people? You need to be sure that you're attracting the right kind of people. The right kind of people aren't people who need 3 months free rent. You want somebody to have a stake in whether or not they're screened properly. The person who walks through your door knows if they've got a criminal record. They know if they've got an eviction history. They don't know their credit score, and that should be the only unknown. So remember, when you do your marketing, make certain you understand who you're trying to attract. So now let's have some fun. Let's turn you into a private investigator. You know you've been doing that for years. So now let's kind of solidify some of the ideas that have been floating around that you've been thinking, maybe I know this and maybe I don't. First of all, the number one highest priority on my list is the person who shows up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday as you're locking up. And they're driving in a rental truck. You know what I'm talking about? And they have to move in right now. Another one of our 13 red flags that's going to make you into a private investigator is taking a look at the person who comes in and says they've been living with a friend or relative. Friend or relative? Think about this. If they're 18 years old, probably. But what if they're 40, 35, 50? Are you going to call mommy and ask if he keeps his bedroom clean? We've got an idea to help you be a private investigator. Our idea is, go ahead and ask for a copy of the utility bill where they're currently living. Don't do it until they put the address down on the application and then say, I see you're living with a friend or relative. In that case, we need verification. We need a copy of the utility bill. If they're living there, chances are very good that they'll get a copy of the utility bill and bring it in to prove the address. And if they're not living there, they won't. And if they don't have a copy of a utility bill and they say that they're living with a friend or relative, chances are pretty good they're not telling you where they're really living. And aren't you glad you're not going to have to rent to them? I have a hard and fast rule with our clients. They're not allowed to let their applicants have any blanks on their application. Blanks on an application indicate that the person is unwilling to give you information. They can put an NA in the blank. NA means it doesn't apply to them, but to leave it blank indicates they don't want to answer a question. In addition to that, if you asked one person to fill out an application and they completed all the data, and someone else didn't complete all the data, you have now got a fair housing violation because you didn't treat both of them the same. No blanks allowed on an application, and in addition, all the information on an application has to be accurate. The application process is absolutely vital. It's the first step in making certain that the data you get from your screening company is correct.